Imagine a state-of-the-art AI, right? It looks at a lung scan and confidently declares it perfectly healthy.
Right, but it completely missed a massive tumor.
Exactly. And not because the AI doesn't know what cancer looks like, but because a tiny titanium implant in the patient's shoulder caused a microscopic glare on the image.
Yeah, and the AI literally did not know how to tell you the picture was blurry.
Which is wild. Welcome to the deep dive. If you're here, you're probably someone who wants to get thoroughly caught up on the bleeding edge of tech and science, but, without drowning in a million different white papers.
You want the insight, not the overwhelm.
Precisely. So today, we're looking at something that fundamentally challenges how we train artificial intelligence in medicine.
Yeah, we're diving into a really fascinating research paper from Fudan University and the Shanghai Artificial Intelligence Laboratory.
It's titled MedQ-Engine, a closed-loop data engine for evolving MLLMs in medical image quality assessment.
Which I know is a really dense title, but the mission we're unpacking today is critical.
Oh, absolutely.
Because we hear constantly about AI diagnosing diseases, predicting outcomes, acting as a digital physician, but assessing the physical quality of the image itself.
Which is a prerequisite for any clinical AI deployment, right?
Exactly. And it's something these massive AI models are surprisingly terrible at. I mean, they fall substantially short of human experts.
Because if the scan is noisy or obscured by an artifact, and the AI cannot recognize that degradation,
the resulting diagnosis is dangerous garbage. It's just bad data in, bad data out.
Yeah, but we aren't just going to, talk about that problem today.
No, the solution is the exciting part.
Right. We're going to explore how a clever, self-correcting system actually taught a relatively tiny AI model to absolutely demolish massive state-of-the-art models like 𝗬𝗎𝗆 at this specific task.
And it did it using a fraction of the data while saving thousands of hours in doctor's time.
Which is huge. But to really appreciate the elegance of this solution, we have to look at the AI medical blind spot first.
Yeah, we're dealing with multimodal large language models, or MLLMs. These are models designed to process both text and images.
Right.
The issue is that a clinician cannot just accept a simple pass or fail score from an AI looking at a lung CT.
Right, they need descriptive assessments. Like, a doctor needs the AI to identify the exact type of degradation.
Exactly.
How severe it is and what its visual impact is on the surrounding tissue.
And recent benchmarking, specifically from a dataset called MedQ-Bench,
Yeah.
reveals that MLLMs have systematic performance gaps compared to human experts when asked to do this.
Wow.
The data shows that the AI's mistakes aren't random. They cluster at very specific capability modality intersections.
Okay, let's unpack this, because I think an analogy helps here.
Sure.
Think about it like trying to improve at golf. If you take a swing and your coach just gives you a pass or fail score saying, well, you shot an 85, that gives you almost zero training signal.
Well, you have no idea what to fix.
Exactly. You don't know why you are slicing the ball. You just know the end result is bad. Now, the alternative is hiring a PGA professional to stand there and write a comprehensive, detailed essay on every single micro movement of every swing you take.
Which would be amazing.
It would be incredible, but it is prohibitively expensive.
Yeah.
You cannot afford to have doctors manually write out descriptive assessments for millions of medical images just to train these models.
And researchers call that the cost-value dilemma. And even if you possessed infinite money to pay those doctors, you run into the static data trap.
Oh, right, because it's just a snapshot in time.
Exactly. One-time data collection fails because a model's weaknesses evolve over time. Returning to your golf analogy.
My favorite analogy.
Right. Well, once your coach finally fixes your slice, you might overcompensate and start hooking the ball.
Oh, totally. You fix one thing, you break another.
New bottlenecks constantly emerge after each improvement. If your training data is a static textbook, it cannot adapt to the new mistakes you are making in real time.
So we are essentially trapped. We can't afford the PGA coach for a million swings, and a static training manual becomes obsolete the second we improve.
Exactly.
So how do you target the training when the AI's blind spots are constantly shifting?
Well, the researchers solved this by building a three-phase engine. The first phase is evaluating.
Okay.
Instead of human engineers trying to guess what the AI is bad at, the system actually tests the model on a dedicated development set of images.
Like a practice exam.
Yeah. It forces the AI to take a practice test multiple times. If the AI consistently fails on a specific image, the system flags it. It essentially builds a pile of persistent failure cases.
Wait, hold on. How does an AI even know what it's bad at without a human grading it and categorizing the errors?
What's fascinating here is the underlying mechanism. The system uses data-driven clustering.
Okay.
It takes the visual content of the failed image and combines it with the text of the questions the AI got wrong. Then, it translates all of that information into mathematical vectors.
Okay. Think of these mathematical vectors like a massive 3D constellation of stars.
I like that.
Every time the AI gets an image wrong because it's too dark, a red star pops up in this virtual space.
Right.
And every time it fails because of motion blur, a blue star pops up. So the data-driven clustering is just the system stepping back, looking at the night sky and realizing, wow, there's a massive cluster of red stars in this one corner. We have a severe weakness with dark images.
That is a perfect visualization. That distinct cluster becomes what the researchers call a failure prototype.
Failure prototype, got it.
Yeah. The system automatically maps out the dominant error patterns the model is making at that exact moment in time.
See, that is a brilliant triage system. You aren't wasting computing power teaching the AI what it already knows perfectly well.
No, not at all.
You are building a highly specific, custom curriculum based purely on its active failures. It's the difference between forcing a student to read an entire medical textbook again before finals versus only having them study the 3 specific chapters they bombed on the midterm.
Precisely. Which brings us to a massive logistical hurdle. Phase 2, exploring.
Right.
We've essentially built a customized wanted poster of the AI's biggest weaknesses. But a wanted poster is useless if you don't actually go out and hunt for the culprits.
Yeah, how does the system physically scour the medical world to find the exact practice images it needs?
The system goes on a scavenger hunt through a massive pool of about 1 million unlabeled medical images.
And I want to pause here because the visual variety we were talking about is insane.
Oh, it really is.
The paper notes they pull from 5 distinct modalities. You have your standard MRI and CT scans, but you also have endoscopy, which is a camera literally snaking through the body's internal tracts.
Right.
You have fundus photography, which involves shining a light through the pupil to photograph the intricate blood vessels at the back of the eye.
Which is wild to see.
And you have histopathology, which honestly looks like abstract art. They're microscopic tissue slides stained pink and purple to spot cancer cells.
The sheer visual diversity is staggering. And as the engine searches this massive, diverse pool, it uses the visual components of those failure prototypes as retrieval anchors.
Okay.
It dives into that million-image database and uses adaptive sampling to deliberately prioritize retrieving images that match the model's weakest dimensions.
So it's actively hunting for the exact type of degradation the AI struggles with the most across all those different modalities.
Exactly.
We still have the problem from earlier, though. These million images are unlabeled.
Right.
We pulled the right practice images, but they don't have the expert medical descriptions attached to them. The AI cannot learn from a blank image.
No, it can't.
And we already established we cannot afford to have human doctors write essays for thousands of images from scratch.
This is where the researchers deploy a progressive human-in-the-loop annotation system.
Okay, human in the loop.
Yeah, the AI attempts to pre-annotate the images itself to save the doctor's time. The human expert just has to accept, edit, or reject the AI's draft.
Now, here is where it gets really interesting, but also a bit concerning for you as a listener.
Oh.
Yeah, the paper explicitly states that the model routes this data to the human doctor based on its own confidence.
Right, or what they mathematically call trajectory-level entropy.
Which sounds like sci-fi jargon. What is trajectory-level entropy mechanically, and isn't it incredibly dangerous to let an AI decide when it needs a doctor's help? I mean, we see AI hallucinate confidently all the time.
It's a very valid critical concern. Trajectory-level entropy is essentially a mathematical measurement of the model's internal chaos or uncertainty during its prediction process.
Okay.
When an AI generates a description, it predicts the next word based on probabilities. If the probabilities for several different words are all very similar, the entropy, the internal confusion, is high.
Oh, it's guessing.
Yeah. The model might sound confident in its final output, but mathematically, it was sweating bullets trying to pick the words.
Okay, so it measures its own internal sweat. But what if it isn't sweating? What if it is completely mathematically certain about a hallucination?
And that is exactly why the researchers engineered a dual signal routing path. They do not just rely on the model's entropy.
Right.
They also measure oracle agreement. They bring in a massive, highly capable model, in this case, GPT-4o, to act as an oracle.
So GPT-4o is basically acting as the attending physician looking over the medical resident's shoulder.
Precisely. Here is the fail-safe mechanism. If the smaller model's entropy is high, if it's uncertain, it automatically defers to the oracle, GPT-4o, to write the annotation.
Makes sense.
But if the small model is highly confident, the system still cross-checks its answer against the oracle.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, if the cocky resident disagrees with the attending physician, the system flags it as a potential hallucination and pages a real human doctor to review it.
That is so smart. The system only automatically adopts its own pre-annotation if it is both highly confident and its answer is consistent with the oracle.
Exactly.
That dual check is genius. It catches the confidently wrong scenarios before they poison the training data.
And the cost savings they outline from this routing architecture are astonishing.
Oh, I bet.
The human review rate drops from 100% down to just 18% of the samples in subsequent iterations.
Wow.
At a cold start, When doctors were reviewing and writing these annotations from scratch, they spent an average of 5.1 minutes per sample.
Okay, 5.1 minutes.
Once the engine starts providing these highly accurate pre-annotations for them to just verify or tweak, the average human review time drops to 30 seconds.
From over 5 minutes down to half a minute, that is a 10x speed up.
It's massive.
You are eliminating expert burnout while still keeping the human fail-safe securely in the loop.
So we have found the model's exact weaknesses, retrieved the perfect practice images, and efficiently labeled them with minimal doctor burnout.
Right.
The final phase, phase 3, is evolving. We feed this highly targeted curriculum back to the model.
But wait, time out. Alphabet soup alert.
Uh-oh.
Yeah, before they fine-tune the model, the paper mentions a strict quality assurance step. They use perceptual hashing and TF-IDF filtering. Break that down for me, because those sound like terms that obscure what is actually happening to the data.
Fair enough. Let's break it down mechanically. Perceptual hashing is a way to create a digital fingerprint of an image's visual features.
Yeah.
In a massive database, you might have the same MRI scan saved twice. Maybe one is cropped slightly differently or compressed.
Oh, sure. Duplicates.
Exactly. Perceptual hashing catches those visual duplicates. You remove them because you don't want the AI memorizing the exact same image. You want it learning broad concepts.
That makes total sense. And the TF-IDF filtering.
TF-IDF stands for Term Frequency Inverse Document Frequency.
Okay.
It basically counts how often a word appears in a specific description compared to all the descriptions in the dataset.
Gotcha.
If the AI's pre-annotations are just copy-pasting the generic phrase, image is blurry, 1,000 times, TF-IDF catches that repetition.
Oh, I see.
Yeah, it filters those boring, repetitive descriptions out, forcing the model to learn from a diverse, highly specific vocabulary instead.
So it prevents the AI from becoming a lazy student memorizing flashcards.
Yes.
It demands diverse visual fingerprints and diverse vocabulary. Once the data passes those filters, they fully update the model's parameters, and it goes right back to the beginning, testing itself again to find its new blind spot.
Closing the loop.
But the ultimate question is, did this incredibly complex, targeted training actually work? Does it make the AI better at looking at medical images?
The benchmarking results are definitive, yes.
To bring this out of the abstract for you, there is a specific mind-blowing example in the source material.
Oh, this was great.
Yeah. They took a base AI model and showed it a cross-sectional CT scan of an abdomen. The base model looked at it and generated a very confident description.
Very confident.
It said the image showed clear differentiation, that the bony structures were well-defined, and it explicitly stated there is no significant artifact present. Overall, the quality of this image is good.
Which was a complete hallucination.
It was wildly incorrect. They show that exact same CT scan to the model optimized by the MedQ-Engine.
Right. The optimized model immediately identified that it was a CT image on a soft tissue window, and then it pointed out that the scan was heavily degraded by metal artifacts, likely due to titanium implants.
Unbelievable.
It noted that this caused beam hardening and streaking artifacts, which severely obscured the anatomical features. It correctly concluded that the image quality was a reject.
The optimized model saw the blinding glare from the titanium that the base model completely ignored.
And when you look at the giant Slayer stats from their benchmarking, the scale of this achievement becomes clear.
Let's hear them.
They used only 10,000 annotations to train this model. The paper notes that gives it more than 4 times the sample efficiency of just picking training images at random.
4 times more efficient. And we have to contextualize the size of the models involved here.
Definitely.
They optimized an 8 billion parameter model. In the AI landscape, parameters are essentially the artificial synapses of the brain.
Right.
An 8 billion parameter model is tiny. It's like a specialized speedboat. They pitted that speedboat against massive 72 billion parameter models, lumbering cargo ships of data.
And the tiny MedQ-Engine model, the intern VL3 8B10K, fed this highly targeted diet, achieved a 78.16% overall perception accuracy.
Which is incredible.
It beat the generalized giant GPT-4o by over 13%.
Wow.
It demolished the 72 billion parameter models, and it narrowed the performance gap with human medical experts to just 4.34%.
To put a tiny 8 billion parameter model within 4% of a human expert is just staggering.
If we connect this to the bigger picture, there is a crucial finding in their data that we really cannot overlook.
What's that?
They tested medical specialized MLLMs models that were already heavily trained on massive amounts of medical data against general-purpose models of a comparable size.
Okay.
The medical specialized models actually underperformed at this task.
Wait, really? The medical models were worse?
Yeah.
See, this is a trap I think a lot of us fall into. We assume that because someone is a genius cardiac surgeon, they automatically know how to fix a broken MRI machine.
Yep.
But those are 2 completely different skill sets. The AI was trained to be the surgeon, not the technician.
Right. Pre-existing medical knowledge does not automatically translate to quality assessment skills.
Because just because an AI knows what a healthy lung looks like doesn't mean it understands the physics of why a CT scan of that lung is distorted by a titanium implant.
It requires highly targeted, modality-specific training data to understand the degradation itself.
Yeah.
You have to teach the model the physics of the camera, not just the anatomy of the body.
So what does this all mean for you, the listener? Like, why should you care about the training architecture of a medical image algorithm?
It's a fair question.
Because honestly, MedQ-Engine represents an absolute masterclass in how to learn efficiently.
Yeah, it really does.
It proves that blind, uniform data consumption, just reading every book you can get your hands on or doing thousands of random flashcards, is vastly inferior to a targeted approach.
Absolutely. True efficiency comes from identifying your specific failure prototypes and only seeking out the exact, precise information needed to fix those specific blind spots.
Which raises an important final question for us to mull over today.
Yeah, if an 8 billion parameter model can slay a massive, generalized giant simply by implementing a closed loop of self-evaluation and targeted feedback.
What happens if we apply this exact architecture to how humans consume information?
Right. Could we build personal data engines for ourselves? Systems that track our own intellectual blind spots, identify the moments our logic breaks down, and curate our daily reading lists entirely around our personal failure prototypes.
Oh man, imagine how much faster you could master a new field if your study material is dynamically adapted to your mistakes in real time, just like this model does.
It would be revolutionary.
It changes the entire paradigm from learning everything to learning exactly what you are missing.
Exactly.
You don't need the doctor to just point at the clean break on the x-ray. You need to know exactly why the image is blurry in the first place so you can fix the machine.
Well said.
Thank you so much for joining us on this deep dive. Keep questioning the data around you, look for your own blind spots, and we will catch you next time.